30 years ago, this company was started with the concept to do something much different than what you see in the world today, and that is to educate people. Education is so important in creating success when it comes to a healthy lifestyle, and unfortunately, education is not something that is easily accessible. You can go on the internet, which is an exclusive tool for information and education, yet when asking how you can get healthy or how to lose weight, you would be shown thousands, millions of pages of conflicting information, with everyone having different opinions and different ideas. And the very end of it all, the only reality or result of all of this is that as human beings, we are getting sicker. We're getting more illnesses. We're getting illnesses sooner in our life. We're getting illnesses we never had 30, 40 years ago. We're seeing more people frustrated and angry and anxious and nervous and on medications for all things. We see more people immobile with more issues where they can't walk, or they have bad hips or bad knees or bad feet and they can't do anything anymore. Their life quality has completely gone downhill. In a mere 100 years, the quality of people and the quality of their life has diminished so greatly that now it's just common knowledge that as we age, we'll find ourselves in a situation where we're going to need the tools that we can get from the doctors and the pharmacies and the hospitals just to prolong our life, when in fact we have everything we need in this world to have a healthy lifestyle. Unfortunately, all the things that are here are no good to us if we don't know how to utilize them or how to make them work. 30 years ago, I started with an idea, and that idea was to create a direction specifically for the person who is so interested to change their life. A direction for a person when they stood up and said, please, I really want to change. I'm not happy with the way I am. I'm not happy with the way I feel, and I'm not happy with what's happening with my body, and I'm not happy with the confidence. I'm not happy with the reflection in the mirror, and I need help. And unfortunately, so many people that are looking for help are caught up in the cycle of business. There's so many different businesses out there and so many different ideologies and so many different ideas and concepts and products and all of these different things that make people just so confused and so frustrated. So I had always come up with the idea that in fact the only way to get a person to be successful is to draw upon that own person's power, that own person's unique instinctive desire to be better, and nourish that with education and awareness and understanding, and give them the tools to be successful, whether that be by information, whether that be by support, hand-holding, encouragement, motivation. It didn't really make a difference. But in the very end of it all, what we set out to do 30 years ago, we have done. And we continue to do so. And in this country alone, coming to Malta and to Gozo, in the last 5 years, the concept and the dream was to bring a concept here that would teach the people on how to live a better life. Stop talking about weight loss programs, stop talking about diets, stop talking about quick fixes, and stop talking about what this person is doing or that person is doing, and stop promoting any kind of ideology that ultimately was making people more and more unhealthier. It's time to wake people up, and that is what we did. We came to this country to wake people up, and when we did that, we brought a language that people haven't heard before. People were not understanding the difference between weight loss and fat loss, but now people understand that losing fat is what ultimately is the thing that's going to save their life, because 92% of all illnesses comes from fat. So it's irrelevant to go on a weight loss program and lose weight when weight is indiscriminate, meaning you could lose weight from water, you could lose weight from your muscle, you could lose weight from bone density, and more likely than not, you're not going to lose fat, which means that as our as our kids and our culture grows and grows and grows older, and year by year, we're seeing that health issues are on the rise. Sicknesses are on the rise. With education, people are not going to grow up and be unhealthy. They're going to grow up and be more healthy. With education, we grow up to be much more intelligent, much more in the know. We know more. But when it comes to health and wellness and the business of health and wellness, we know very, very little. We don't have to go further than our mirror and the reflection in that mirror to know that we don't know very much. So we brought this concept to this country, and now we're hearing words people are saying, and they're coming to us because they're making changes that they've never experienced before. People are getting off of medication, not because we tell them to, but because their doctors are telling them to, because the need for the medication is now not needed anymore. Blood pressure is going down. Cholesterol levels are going down. The need for diabetic medication for diabetes type 2 is going down because people are learning how to eat consistency and keeping their blood sugar levels consistent and stable throughout the day. People are saying that what we're doing is miracles, but it's not miracles. Education isn't a miraculous invention. Education is just the one thing that has been kept from us in this department for such a long time. And for the only reason is that there's so much more money to be made if you're uneducated and not getting what you want. Uneducated people don't get healthy. Uneducated people don't look better. They don't feel better. Uneducated people, as they age, look older, feel older, act older, think older. This is what we set out to do 30 years ago. This is what I set out to do 30 years ago. I set out to wake people up and give anyone who wanted to make a change the opportunity to make that change. There's nothing worse than listening to a person who in front of me at this time of their life, 30, 40, 50 years old, is unhappy, discouraged, low confidence, low self-esteem. They hate themselves. They don't know who they are. They don't like the way they look. They're not going to the beach. They're not wearing a bathing suit. They're not proud to show off their body. They're afraid to go out in public. They've got to try on 10 different outfits before they walk out the door, if they walk out the door. This is not something that is helpful. And what we've done is looked at that person that's walked in the door and said, is this really where you wanted to be when you started this whole journey 20, 30 years ago? When you looked at yourself in the mirror 20, 30 years ago and you said, I'm not happy, and you decided to go on a diet or a weight loss program, and in the very end of it all, each diet that you did, each weight loss program that you did turned out to be a failure for you, because in the end, you may have lost some weight, but you didn't look better. You didn't feel better. You were more frustrated. You were more anxious. You were more nervous, and you were craving more of the foods that you shouldn't be craving. So you went off of the diet, gained all that weight back, only to be heavier than you were before, frustrated and feeling like a failure. But no, you didn't quit, because people don't quit. Inherently, inside of ourselves, we won't quit. So you didn't quit, and you did another diet, another weight loss program. You lost some more weight. And then, of course, as you lost that weight, you went off the diet, you went back to your old lifestyle. What did you do? You gained the weight back and more. And here we are, fast forward 30 years later. You don't even look the same as you did when you were younger. You're not close to looking the same. You don't feel the same. It's not age that did that to you. It's ignorance. It's not being educated. You don't feel better than you did before. And now, unlike when you were younger, you could eat whatever you wanted and you still look good. Now you're afraid to eat. Now you're afraid of food. You're afraid to look at food. Food's either going to make you fat, and that you can't handle, or food has so much power over you that you're going to eat it anyway and just accept the fact that you're going to be fat and unhappy. So food has become the drug that has inevitably shut you down. This is not the way to live. And when I saw that 30 years ago, and I saw what's been going on in our culture, not just in this country, but every single country, where pharmaceutical companies are reaping all the rewards and all the benefits because people are sicker and in the hospital more and taking more medication, doing more things that they don't need to do if they were educated. When you were young, if you were taught what to do, you'd be healthy today. It's a sad thing to look at that person in front of me at 50 years old and see them so unhappy, hating life, feeling miserable, when they had an option. They could have done something different. But there was no options made available. No one gave them another option. The only option for everyone out there who didn't like the way they looked was to go on a diet. And all we know is this: by simple looking back into the past, diets don't work. They never have. They may make you lose weight, but they don't make you lose fat. And as we know, the number one cause of death in this world is heart disease because of fat. The number two cause of death, or the second one in the world, is stroke caused by fat. Then there's diabetes caused by fat and nutrition, and then there's cancer caused by fat and nutrition. So you see, what we're doing without really knowing it is we're killing ourselves. It's time to get educated. That's what we're doing here. That's why you're here. You want to learn now. You want to learn. You want to change your life. You have the opportunity at this exact moment to change the course of your future. That is completely in your hands and up to you. All you have to do is stand up and say, I am tired of living this way. I am tired of the way that things are going for me. I am tired of the way I feel. I am tired of having to go to the doctor all the time. I am tired of feeling this way. I am frustrated. I am angry. And I would be angry because the education's always been there. It's just never been taught to you. And because you are in a situation where you're not educated, how unhappy are you? How unhealthy are you? It is time to wake up. It is time to take a stand and change the future. I don't care if you're 50. I don't care if you're 60. I don't care if you're 70. You can change at any point in your life. As long as you have air in those lungs and that heart of yours is still pumping, you can make a change. Children need to learn. Children need to learn. We are living in a generation now where children are not outside playing any longer. They are antisocial. They don't know how to communicate. They're on Facebook, on their iPads. They are connected and they are wired, and they are not outside. They're not playing. They're not just not outside anymore, but they're eating whatever they want to eat. Unhealthy foods, it doesn't make a difference. And all our kids are, unfortunately, falling apart at a much faster rate than their parents. If you want to change, if you want to change the future starts right now. The future starts with you. You need to open your mind. You need to open your ears. You need to say, I want to change. I want to learn. I want to know what makes me so unique and so special. And I want to know what I need to do for me to be successful, because there is no other you. There is no one else out there like you. There is no book that's going to tell you who you are. There is no drug that's going to be made exactly for you. There is no doctor, no pharmacist, no nutritionist, no dietitian. There is no psychologist or no philosopher who's going to tell you who you are, because you are so unique and so different, and it is up to you to wake up and take account and stock of your own life. Open your mind, open your heart, open your ears and say, I am ready to change, and I want to change now. And if you say those words, then that's where I'm waiting. Because in 30 years, for every single person who has said those words, who has stood in front of me with their hands open and said, teach me, I want to learn. Each one of those people who has followed what they were told to do, what they were educated to do, each one of those people has found success. and success is what you will have. All you need to do is put your hand up and say, I want to change.